gonna do something that I bet you do often. I'm just gonna make up a recipe as I go along. Now you know that in volume 1 and volume 2, I have several different chicken chicken spaghetti that I make. And this morning, I thought, I'm going to cook that whole chicken that has been frozen in my deep freeze. When I cleaned it and defrosted it the other day, I took that chicken out and put it in my refrigerator to let it thaw. So this morning I could tell it was ready. I washed it and took the inside out and patted it dry, and I made 4 balls out of aluminum foil, put them in my crock pot, and then I sprinkled all kinds of seasonings, garlic, salt, pepper, paprika, and just rubbed it all over it, put it in the crock pot on high for 4.5 hours, and it was done. It smelled so good, and I let it cool, and I took the breast part and I chopped it. I think this may be even too much for what I'm doing. But normally, while I talk to you, I'm going to chop this onion. But normally, I would make a 9-13. And, you know, because I was used to cooking for 6 or 7 people, and Amy and them lived here. Well, if I made a 9-13 chicken spaghetti, it would be too much for us. So what I have done, I did not measure my spaghetti. I went ahead and I broke it into about 3-inch pieces and cooked it. It still looks like it's a good bit. But what I will do is I'm going to add ingredients according to what an 8x8 would make. And of course, this will feed us supper, and then we'll have some for lunch tomorrow. But let me tell you what I'm doing. I'm going to add some of the ingredients that I add to different ones, and then I'm just going to add some things. But I'm going to add 1 can of cream of mushroom soup. This is the Great Value. All right. I have, and I didn't bring it over here, the chicken, as it cooked, it made broth, so I'm going to add 1 cup of broth. All right. I chopped a 1/2 of an onion and a small bell pepper. Y'all, this is probably the most used gadget that I have besides my cheese grater. Okay, I'm going to put that. I'm going to put chicken. Let's see how much it's going to take. If I don't use all this, I'll mix it with the other, and I'll make another dish later. Okay, that looks pretty good. I'm going to, this is something I just looked in the refrigerator. I don't have any Rotel diced tomatoes and chilies, but I have I have some chunky paste salsa, and I'm just going to put maybe 1/3 of a cup. I may put a little bit more. I grated 4 ounces of cheese, and I'm going to just put some inside. I'm going to put some of this Y'all Brand Fancy Steakhouse seasoning. I love it. It's one of my favorites. I'm not going to measure. I'm just going to add it to taste. I'm gonna put some smoked paprika. And then I've mixed up some house dressing that I like, and it's just a mixture of salt, pepper, and garlic. Put that in there. Okay. Let's mix that up really well together. Okay. Now, I have sprayed this 8x8 pan. Can you see it? Okay. I preheated my oven to 350 degrees. Let me tell you why I just made this recipe up. I'm gonna make myself sit down tonight and do a menu for next week. And then that's what I'm going to buy, the things that I would need to make it. And I knew I had spaghetti and I had cooked that chicken, but I didn't have everything that it would take for either of those recipes that were in my cookbook, so I thought, I'm just gonna mix it up. And that's what I did, and I know it's gonna be delicious. Now, the rest of this cheese, I'm gonna sprinkle on top. And you know, everything in here is done. The chicken is already cooked. The spaghetti is done. All I want it to do is to heat thoroughly and for the cheese to melt. It won't take long, probably 25 minutes. But y'all, I made it up. You can make it just like this. You can leave out, if you don't like smoked paprika or the the taco salsa. But I wanted to use this up. It was in my refrigerator, and I want to start using it because I made some this year homemade. And I don't want to open it as long as I have that. But I'm going to put this in the not in the refrigerator, in my stove, and after it cooks, I'll be back and show you. This cooked for 25 minutes, and it's been out of the oven for about 20 minutes probably. But you can see the cheese melted, it got bubbly, and we'll get some of it out. It's like I told you, this recipe was just sort of made up. And I'm sure that you do recipes like that yourself. Let me see what it tastes like. That's really good. Really good. And this will be enough for us to have tonight and then leftovers for lunch tomorrow. So take a recipe that you might have, and if you don't have all the ingredients, add something. It'll be okay. The only thing you can't really do that with is like if you're baking something, you've got to use the amount the recipe calls for. But casseroles and things like that, use what you have. Thank you for being with me today. And remember to be salt and light, and I'll be back soon.